Happy Tuna Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back. It is time for a Pounds for Purrs workout. Today was incline bench press and T-bar row. Right off the bat, I want to thank a couple girls, actually, who really saved my workout. Because when I got to the gym, it was really just a bunch of guys working out, and I need that balance. It's important for me, and thankfully, there were a couple really awesome girls working out that truly saved the workout in terms of focus, determination, and drive. And as a bonus, my main gym crush showed up at the end, but I'll get to that a little bit later. I began with an easy warm-up on the elliptical. Half mile took me 4 minutes and 43 seconds. And then I started warming up on incline bench. I was a little tempted to do a shortened version of the warm-up, so I'd probably start with 95 or 135, but I ended up defaulting to my typical warm-up, so 10 reps with the bar, 8 reps with 95, 6 reps with 135, and now you're seeing the 10x4 with 90 seconds of rest in between sets, and every rep was very comfortable. Some pretty good pauses here and there. I wasn't really concerned with pausing every rep. I didn't want to do that, but I did choose certain ones to do that with, and especially as the sets progress, they'll get a little bit longer, but that's just for the fun of it. Honestly, this is very comfortable, and I'm actually quite optimistic in terms of where I'm going to go with the incline bench. And especially when I get to around 225, that's going to be very comfortable. And I'm happy about that, because before quarantine, I could do back offsets of 5 with 225 without any question. And I was doing that almost routinely too. So if I can get to that sort of strength level and beyond, even better. But I do know for a fact that 185 was a really good starting point for the program. And I was a little hesitant at first just because I wasn't sure where I would be, but thankfully, strength is still there. And then for the accessory, I was planning on doing a guillotine press. I wanted to go back to that one and make it a bit of a staple, but by the time I was done rowing, both barbell benches were taken, so I had to make a substitution, and I did. So what I did instead was an incline dumbbell squeeze press, sometimes called a hex press, but basically you take 2 dumbbells and then you hold them with a neutral grip and you press the bells together and you keep them in constant contact. They don't come apart, and you keep them pressed together as you press. So it's going to look a bit like a neutral grip press, but with the dumbbells touching. And so they're right down the center line, and it's great for horizontal humeral adduction, as well as just keeping that constant pressure, or what most people call nowadays time under tension. So it's a great exercise. I went to a 30-degree incline. I started off with the 50-pound dumbbells, which was way too easy. And then I ramped up to 60-pound dumbbells. That felt better. And then I topped off with a 3x8 with the 70-pound dumbbells. And that was pretty much spot on, right where I wanted it to be. Just to the point where the last rep would be kind of challenging, but definitely not close to failure. Okay, T-bar row. A few things about this one. First off, I'm not using a handle, so I went to the landmine station after incline bench, and I noticed that the V-bar wasn't nearby, so I could have just walked into the other room and gotten the attachment, but I did think about using an interlocked finger grip when I started T-bar rowing, just for the fun of it, just because I had read about it before and I wondered if it's something that I would enjoy. So today I did that, and honestly, I really liked it. I like the feel of it. I like the bigger focus on the rhomboids, since you're just as much centered as possible with your center line, which is really interesting to me, just because I'm so used to having weights off, just a bit off to the side, or with a handle of some sort. So it's a kind of a nice change of pace, and I'll be honest, I might stick with it. I liked it that much. So while I usually do things like this with a V-bar attachment, actually I think I'll keep this grip. I don't know how heavy I'll be able to do it with, so I don't know how much longer I'll be able to have a comfortable interlocked grip, but I will do it probably as long as I can. So the other thing with T-bar row today, actually one of the other things, is the warm-up. So I started off with a couple 25-pound plates on the sleeve, did that for a set of 5, threw another set of 5 instead of jumping to all 4, and then after that, then I went to the working weight for the 10x4, and it's pretty good. I'm more or less locked into the technique that I want to use with the T-bar row, and the 2 main cues that I give myself are, 1, the hip hinge, which you do with this row with a lot of bent over rows. That's so important to set your back so that it's straight, and also that so that you have a little bit of tension and engagement with your posterior chain, your glutes, your hamstrings. So that's something I tell myself, and then also just a little bit of what I call a little peel back with the upper back, and that's not to be confused necessarily with an arch, but you can say it's similar. That's to help make sure that I get to the peak contraction with the lats, but also to maintain proper range of motion, or I should say ideal range of motion. Now after this, you are going to see 2 bonus sets, and I'm going to call them extra sets just for the sake of changing up the wording, but I did 2 in addition to my scheduled 10, and that was just because of the amazing female motivation that decided to show up, which was I'm very thankful for that. I'm very grateful for that, because it really honestly saved the workout. There was one earlier, and then here's another, and it really does make a difference. But after I did rows, or actually I'm sorry, I should say after I did incline squeeze press, I went over to a cable tower and went to the straight arm pull down, which I really love as a single joint exercise for the lats. I think it's fantastic. So what I did there was a set of 8 with 42.5, felt pretty easy. I bumped it to 50, that felt pretty good, and then I went to 57.5 for a 3x8, and that was perfect. I could not go any heavier than that, and it was perfect where I can still get all reps, but it was challenging towards the end. And then my main gym crush showed up, so of course I had to do something. As a result, I went over to the rowing machine and did 500 meters, actually 5:14 in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Alright y'all, adopt, don't chop.